everybody, it's the 13th Wolfman. You know what today is? Today is day 13 of the 31 days of horror. Oh, we're almost at the halfway point, and that's really, really depressing. 31 movies, 31 days, talk about them all. My theme this month is Tubi. I'm doing all the movies that are available at the time on Tubi, so check that out. If you have Tubi, just Tubi is actually a really good way to watch movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my physical media. It's all over the Doom Room here. But if there's a movie that you don't own or you can't find, look for it on Tubi. I mean, it might be on there. I'm surprised on the stuff that they have on there. So, let's talk about some of the people that are doing this. Brother Max, of course. Double Shot J, of course. Moods 616, of course. Carly, Jennifer Toshi, Professor Macabro. Who else? Chill Pilgrim is doing this over on Letterboxd. Tony Has Nine Fingers is doing it on TikTok. I mean, there's a ton of people doing this. They're having fun doing this. I know I have fun doing this. So today's movie is a 2007 movie called Brain Dead. Produced and directed by Kevin S. Tenney. Kevin Tenney's been around since the 80s making movies. I mean, he loves his horror. And he really proves it with this one. This one seems a little more sci-fi-ish than horror. Mainly there are horror elements in it, but it feels more sci-fi because of the story. So the movie starts, these two buddies are out there at a lake fishing, and out of nowhere comes this meteorite. And we see it in space, and it's like the size of a Pinto, or let's see, a Mini, or a Fiat 500. And by the time it gets to Earth, it's the size of a golf ball. And when it gets to Earth, it flies and it hits the guy in the forehead right here. Now, that meteorite has something in it that's caused this guy's DNA to change. Because even though he's dead, he's alive. But he's also a funky looking creature. And a homicidal funky looking creature. And he's off on a killing spree. And that's really the fun part of this movie. It's very creative. I mean, it has an element kind of like the original Blob with Steve McQueen, where something came from outer space and just started killing people, but rather than it just being a gooey substance, it took over someone's body. I love that idea. And then you have, so for the people being hunted, you have two criminals that are being transferred from the local jail to not a prison, but to another jail in another county. So you got those two guys. One of them is a smart ass. One of them is just there because the sheriff doesn't like him because he doesn't like his brother. His brother was a criminal, and he's just like, well, if you're anything like your brother, you're going to be a criminal too. You got these two girls that are medical students that are on a hike. One is a lesbian, and she really likes the other one. The other one, it just doesn't come off as... I think it's unrequited love, And then you have a pastor, or a preacher, or a padre, whatever you want to call him, and his secretary. And she's a cute little thing. And they all wind up, basically, at some point or another, they all wind up at a cabin in the woods. The same cabin, being hunted by the same creature. and the cabin just so happened to belong to the two guys that were fishing at the beginning, and some of their friends. There's more about that if you watch the movie later, but it's just this is a good time. This is definitely a good time, and it's creative. And Kevin Tenney kind of follows along the lines of Roger Corman when it comes to making horror movies. Roger Corman said, "Give them babes, boobs, and blood, and it'll be successful." And Kevin Tenney kind of follows along that same line, because the women in this are gorgeous. You see more than enough fair share of boobs, if that's your thing. And there is blood, and there will be blood, and it pours. So this was just, in a way, it kind of feels like a sci-fi movie, or a sci-fi channel type film, but with the amount of blood and gore and boobs, no. This is definitely this is something else. This is Kevin Tenney doing what Kevin Tenney does, is what I'm saying, and it's him having a good time making a fun movie. I don't know what else to say about this other than I'm going to give this 2.5 chainsaws. I mean, 2.5 chainsaws out of 4. This is another one of those gems, everybody. I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie before, but it's been long enough that it feels like I'm watching it for the first time. And I know I don't have it in the collection. It's not. This is called Brain Dead. This is not Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. This is Kevin Tenney. This is a whole different movie. And I know I keep saying the word fun all the time, but it's a fun one. It definitely is. It's a good time. On Brother Max's scale, I would definitely say watch this with friends. You guys could just kick around with friends and just enjoy the I don't want to say absurdity, but there is a lot of it that you feel might be that way in this movie. So I don't want to insult Kevin Tenney, because this movie is just a good time. And that's really what it is. It's just a good time. So that's about it. 2.5 chainsaws out of 4. Always like, always subscribe, always share, and always comment. For that, I am the 13th Wolfman. I'm on the prowl.